see a big crowd like this. It really excites me. I have the honor of leading this panel of 4 experts from 4 iconic brands. I will go in alphabetical order, starting with Danone. Danone was founded in 1919 by Isaac Carasso. He was concerned for his son's health, and he used cultures from the Pasteur Institute. His son's name was Daniel, which they lovingly called Danone, which means little Daniel. They've added to their brands Activa, International Delights Creamer, Oikos, Danimals, my favorite, Silk Milk, and So Delicious. Joining us from Danone is Sari. Sari Stagg. She's a proud BYU Cougar. She's the senior manager of invoice to cash for Danone. She's got over 18 years of experience, passion for problem solving, project management, continuous improvement, and process optimization. Our next panelist is from ResMed. ResMed stands for Respiratory Medicine. They are pioneers of the positive continuous airway pressure system, also known as CPAP, to treat snoring and sleep disorders. My wife thanks you, Garfield, for being able to sleep at night and my snoring. They were founded in 1989 in Sydney, Australia. They're now sold in over 140 countries worldwide. They've recently expanded to the SaaS market and connected health solutions by growing the ResMed family with the acquisitions of Brightree and Matrix Care. Garfield is a 6 Sigma Green Belt. He's got over 15 years of experience. He's also got the unparalleled perspective and experience of being a U.S. Marine. Just a shout out, hire veterans. Our government puts a lot of training into them, and they have an experience that we got. And lastly, our 3rd and 4th panelists come to us from Wolverine Worldwide. Wolverine Worldwide was founded in 1883 in Rockford, Michigan. They started as a leather, boot, and glove company. 130 years and 12 iconic brands later, here they are. They included Hush Puppies, Sperry, Peds, Saucony, Merrill, Chacos, High Test, Bates, Cat, Harley Davidson, and the newest acquisition from the UK to challenge Lululemon, Sweaty Betty. So Rich Shively has 25 years of credit collection experience. He's got an MBA from Western Michigan. He's a proud Buster Bronco. Amy Kohn, also from Wolverine, has 23 years of collection, chargeback, deduction, and root cause analysis. She's been working in multiple modules within HighRadius for the last 3 years. I'm Dan Grenemyer. I'm with Altus Receivables Management. For 28 years, we've been the go-to partner for thousands of businesses that need to collect money. I've been with Altus for 16 years, helping clients manage order to cash, reduce their DSO and write-offs by providing first and third-party collection services as well as legal forwarding. And that brings me to my favorite part of the job, which is interacting with companies. I went online and I couldn't find any companies or any universities or colleges that offered a credit and collections major. So for most of us, we learn on the job from our peers and clients. So our goal, there's 97 years of experience on the stage today, and our goal is to share a little bit of our experience with you. We're going to cover 3 topics in credit collection. The first is people, or human assets. The second is technology. And the third is the process, which we see as combining people and technology. So without further ado, I will launch into our first question, and this one is for Sari. What advice would you give to someone in their first leadership role hiring a new member of their team?
So I would suggest, first of all, understand what you want from your team. What is it that you need? Do you need steady eddies? Do you need dependability? Well, we probably all need dependability. But do you need just data entry, or do you need more dynamic? And that comes down to soft skills versus your hard skills, which typically your hard skills, they're a lot, you can train those. Typically, those are a lot more easier to train, whereas soft skills are harder. They are something that a lot of us are just inherently have. You can help, develop them and enhance them, but when it comes down to it, you're gonna want to look for people that are gonna demonstrate a lot of those soft skills that will help your team. Collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, helping to build your team,
Rich, the next question is for you. Based on your experience, especially through the Great Resignation of 2021, what is your advice for retaining talent?
We're really in an unprecedented time. We've gone from 5 days in the office to 5 days at home to are we going to be back in the office 5 days or are we going to be in a hybrid situation? I think understanding your company's short-term and long-term goals in terms of where that is going to be. My observations, I think we're going to see more and more go back to the hybrid model. We've seen Amazon do that last week. I think they also say to take a look at some of the employment decisions that Silicon Valley does. And as we're looking at it right now, I think Silicon Valley is going back to a hybrid model as well. I did kind of a mock job search over the last couple of weeks just to kind of prepare for this. And in my particular role, those jobs that have been posted, somewhere around 65 to 70%, this is totally unscientific and as I've gone through it, 65 to 70% were still remote. Probably the remaining, 30 to 35% were in a hybrid model. Very, very few that I've seen today, or at least that I saw in the last 2 weeks, have been 5 days in the week in the office. So I think that flexibility and understanding what you're going to do, communicating that to your employees, as well as if you're going to be in a hybrid situation, I think having that culture, having the technology for your employees to be successful, both at home and in the office, is extremely important. I try to make it so that my folks and my employees are only carrying their laptop back and forth. They've got the same technological setup in their home office as well as in the work office.
Okay. And just to kind of piggyback on that question, Rich, what do you see as the biggest challenge that we face in the next 5 years in hiring and retaining talent?
Well, I tell you, I think it's going to be balancing the 6 million boomers who are going to be permanently leaving the workplace and balancing that in as well as being able to retain the Gen Z folks. I read an article about a week or so ago that the Great Resignation is becoming the Great Regret. And 50% of our Gen Zers are regretting that jump that they made for the big bonuses and for the big money. And some of what they miss is kind of what our culture is with boomers and some of us in the older generation, which is that interpersonal relationship with your coworkers. So I think that's going to be the challenge. I don't think it's all about salary either. I think it's about your boss. It's about what your company can provide and what your company's work atmosphere can provide.
Thanks, Rich. You start on this one. What are some of your technology and automation goals for, say, the next 2 years?
So as everybody knows, with more companies such as Amazon, Walmart, and whatnot, they utilize a lot of portals. And when you have so many deductions coming in, we try to use high radius to help us get all those claims from the portals. And then what that does is actually creates pre-deductions for us. And then we actually have team members that are assigned to specific accounts that then help them do their workload so we can actually try to find the root cause much quicker than we could 3 years ago before we had high radius technology. In the future, I think we're going to continue down that path. A lot of Walmarts of the world are actually trying to block some of our growth that we've done because they don't want bots in their portals. However, it helps us do our jobs. So high radius is also, looking at other avenues for technology to try to help us continue on down that path.
Thank you. Garfield, this next one I'll toss towards you. What advice would you give someone just starting their technology journey for new technology?
Hey, thanks, Dan. Well, I'm no Dr. Phil, so let's just get that out of the way real quick. But what I will say is that you've got to communicate. And you've got to do so often and early. It's just like a relationship, guys. When you're looking at it, you have to define your roadmap. You have to define your scope. You have to ask a lot of tough questions about what the business needs are. You have to know who your customers are. And you may even have to go out and do voice of your customers and find out what your customers want. So because you build this new shiny object, it doesn't necessarily mean that's what your customers are going to want in the long run. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to allow your customers to interact better with you in the long run. It doesn't mean that you can help your business to be more efficient in the long run. So you have to really define your scope, build your roadmap, leverage external partners such as Brent Thornton as an example, technology partners who are experts in helping businesses finding the right technology that's going to help them help their business over the long term. ERP systems, as we all know, there are many, but no two ERP systems are alike, right? I mean, if you have a 5-family member, you're not going to have as your family car a Mini Cooper. So while you have some inferior ERP product, as an example, to lead your company, go out there and look for the best product that's going to drive efficiency, look for the best product that's going to help your customers, and you also want to make sure that you bring in your teams, your internal teams, your stakeholders, sales if you have them. You want to make sure that you reach out to all of those people early and often. Great communication strategy is always going to be your best. Because at the end of the day, guys, remember, it's your money, and you should all want it now. That's what I would tell you.
Amy, next one for you. How are you using technology to reach customers and give them options to pay?
So currently we are using high radius platforms, the collections and the IPP modules. So whenever we send out statements, we automatically send a link to the EIPP portal that customers can easily click on. They can go and log into their accounts to do a self-service, which has been awesome. They can get in there, they can pay invoices, they can print invoices. They can also see when things are due. We have also have it to where they can set up auto pay, and a lot of your smaller accounts like that because sometimes it's hard for them to remember, oh, my invoice is due in 30 days, but if they set up an auto pay, they can literally just click, save all their credit card or ACH information in there, click it, it pays, no worries for them whatsoever. In the future, what we're hoping to do is work with High Radius and have more emails coming out of the collections module to where we can actually send an email, have a link in there that they don't actually have to log in. They just literally pay whatever the invoice is or the statement that we're sending. So we're hoping for that technology soon, and I think that High Radius will be able to get us there.
That's great, thank you, Amy. Last technology question, Garfield. What have been the risks and rewards of a remote working environment, and how has your technology evolved through that?
Many of you realize that working from home poses great security risk for many companies, right? I mean, we all remember those things that we have on our desk when we used to work in the offices called, the landline. A lot of companies have gone to digital technologies such as cell phones and things like that. Some companies have even evolved to cell phones to use to communicate with their customers, applications such as WhatsApp. But along with those technologies comes risks, and those risks involve security breaches, hackers and things trying to penetrate your system. So make sure that you try to leverage, work with your IT team, make sure that you have strong VPNs, make sure that you have strong internet when you're working from home. But also some of the other things that working from home present is it brings you closer to your family, right? I mean, you no longer have to sit in traffic. You no longer have to spend the time for a lot of people waking up in the morning, getting ready. It doesn't take me too long, as you can see. So that's great. But the benefits are huge from that perspective, and it comes with the risk. I mean, a lot of people, of course, miss the camaraderie that they have from hanging out with folks in the office, meeting up with them, going to lunch and things of that nature. But it also, you can do a lot of those things, which are some rewarding things with your family members as well.
That's great. Thank you, Garfield. Sari, I'll throw this one to you. What have you found effective in preparing your people for new technology?
For us, I think involving your people early on in the process also exposing them to the new software and looking at not necessarily having it be like manager pushing it down to the people that will be working on it and using it every day, but having peer-to-peer interaction and having them working together. You're going to get more buy-in. You're going to get better cheerleaders, as opposed to a manager saying you have to use this. Well, if they have a coworker saying this is a really good opportunity, look at what I've been able to do with it, they're going to relate to that a lot more. And so for us in Danone, that's one of the things we've tried to do. We haven't done it very well sometimes, but get people in early, have them be part of the process definition, because it's going to change with the new technology. So those are some of the things that we have found have helped us with trying to get our team up to speed faster, and then of course be more on board and willing to use it instead of the resistance that sometimes you can get.
Thank you. And just kind of a piggyback question on that, can you share some process goals that you have for the next 3 years?
Yeah, so Danone is huge right now. We're trying to get people trained on Six Sigma, getting yellow belts, just so they can get this understanding of how do you look at a process, how do you make things better, and having that mindset. So what we've done as a team, we've looked at our department, which is a little smaller, it's within the entire Shared Business Service Center, but our team, we've decided, let's have every single person, it be tied to their KPI, that they have to be involved or lead one project. Nothing huge, we're not gonna make it, a big, solve world hunger kind of a project. It'll be something smaller, more attainable. And then a colleague on my team, Mindy North, she's been leading those collaborations once a month to say, do you have roadblocks? Do you have anything that you need help with to help you achieve the goal of getting this process implemented or improved? And as a company, we track it. And so we're able to report out, like last year we had, I want to say 18 different projects within our department of 50 people completed, and we saved, I want to say, in the hundreds of man hours of the process improvement. So we were able to track that and be able to say, this is the benefit, and we're going to continue doing that, this year, and then hopefully keep going on and keep that momentum going.
Thank you. Get the signal that we've got about a minute left. I'm going to jump ahead. So we've gotten together and talked about the 3 biggest things you can do to fumble-proof your credit collection policy. We don't have time to get in depth in them, but real quick, vetting and setting appropriate credit limits, obtaining and saving proper documentation, and escalating accounts in a timely fashion. I would encourage you to ask the panelists for a little bit more input on that. Feel free to talk to me as well. But do we have time for a couple of questions? We do have time for a couple of questions. So please raise your hand and ask them of the panel, of anybody in particular. If I throw an Altus Yeti, would anybody ask a question? We've got 3 Altus Yetis if anybody has questions. All right, here we go. See me afterwards. She's grabbing you one of the microphones.
I really need to put a Yeti, but thank you. Always appreciate a panel. Thank you for serving in this way. Quick question for you. Tell us a little bit more about, since we're talking about credit and collection, tell us a little bit more about your escalating in a timely fashion, especially when you start to involve continuous improvement from a Six Sigma perspective. Tell me about the collaboration that happens with your teams.
Garfield, that's you.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Escalating is you want to make sure you do it early. A lot of companies will tell you, they wait 45 days, 60 days, or whatever. A lot of it depends on your business. But whatever you tell your customers you're going to do when you reach that escalation process, make sure you do it. Because, like we like to say, we don't like our customers making liars out of us, right? If we tell them we're going to do it in 31 days, we're going to do it in 31 days. If we tell them we're going to do it in 60 days, we're going to do it in 60 days. So you have to do it consistently, because customers learn your behavior, and they're always trying to outwit you. So whatever you have as your make sure your internal stakeholders are aware of what that process is.
Mike keeps cutting.
But make sure you follow that. And if you need to go and off those customers and send it to an external collection agency, there are plenty out there, and they're willing to help you. Right? They're willing to help you. But I think as individuals, right? I mean, we all as collectors, we have that mindset. We're like that dog with no ill will to dogs or anything like that, right? But we all know we get a hold of that, and we just want to keep going. We want to collect to the very end. But it's okay. They have skip tracing tools and all the mechanisms, attorneys and all those things that they can leverage. But you know, when that time comes, let those customers go externally because they know that. Oh, okay. So you want me to promote iRadius as well? no. I mean, realistically, no. I mean, the communication aspect of it is tremendous, right? We all know there are many ERP systems out there, but they're not all alike, as I've said before. What iRadius does as a bolt-on technology, it allows you to have cadence that you can use and define that best suits your business. Is it 5 days, is it 7 days, is it 14, 21, you name it. They will help you to do that without fail. A lot of times what we do, we put things in our Outlook and our calendar get all filled up, and we miss things. iRadius doesn't miss things if you tell it to do it at 7, 14, or whatever. So those are the benefits of using it to such as iRadius.
So if you don't mind, I'm going to add to that. So within the collection module of iRadius, I'm going to sell iRadius a little bit here. So we have in the work list, we have actually built in like different things. So like if it hits 10 days past due, then we say escalate to step 1. That triggers something, and we actually have it to where it takes emails automatically out. So it also saves a ton of time for our team. And then we also have, like if it's 15 days past due, then we take escalation level number 2, and then we have set up exactly what we're going to do. So it definitely helps immensely if you have the collections module.
We have time for one more question. Anybody? Right here. Or I can repeat it for you if you want to say it.
She's coming.
Oh, she's coming.
Just fast.
My question on the escalations, right? With the dispute and deductions module, how are you using that in your escalation process?
So, Rich and I can take this one. So we use the deductions module quite heavily. So we don't use the dispute module or disputes out of the collections module. We use it out of strictly the deductions module. So we've also set up email templates and whatnot within there. And then we have tasks that we set up on those specific ones that then when you go to your home screen, it will show you that you have a follow-up you need to do because it hasn't been paid, because it's still an open tab. So it's been pretty helpful, and it takes a lot of guesswork out of the team where they start in the day. So they've literally, first thing they do, they go to their home tab, they look to see what they have that needs to be escalated in the deductions line. Our collectors do both, deductions and collections. Yep.
We have time for one more, or is that a wrap? Okay. Thank you so much for sitting with us today. Please give us out for being here tomorrow.